biggest mistake most of the companies do, not having a brand voice, a brand like the way you would approach things. It's very important to tie in demand gen to lifecycle marketing. Any manual task which takes a lot of effort, you can automate that through AI. The focus is revenue generation. Hiring someone full-time for a marketing role is probably not feasible. Maybe allocating some budget to get in that expertise makes more sense. I'm your host Maheen, and you're watching our exclusive series, which is AI for SMBs, where we spotlight the transformative power of AI for SMBs in Canada. A reality check for me almost, where it was like, oh, do you know the audience for our particular brand is sitting on Reddit, figuring out what the next best steps look like just based off feedback.
Hi everyone, this is Maheen and welcome to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. I'm your host Maheen and you're watching our exclusive series, which is AI for SMBs, where we spotlight the transformative power of AI for SMBs in Canada. Now, in this series, we're diving into how AI is shaping the future of work, redefining productivity, and offering real ROI for startups and businesses that are ready to embrace innovation. Joining us today is Nida Ateeq, the founder and CMO at Anagar Media, a full-stack marketing, AI, and automation agency. Nida is an engineer turned marketer with a knack for demand gen, pipeline growth, and SaaS strategy, and a nominee for DMZ Women of the Year and featured on Times Square display. Nida is deeply passionate about women's leadership and immigrant entrepreneurship. Today we'll discuss lots, including how AI is reshaping the future of marketing, the rise of fractional CMO roles, and the lessons from Nida's career. So without further ado, let's welcome our guest, Nida. Nida, we're very pleased to have you on the show today. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing great.
Very pleased to have you with us. Now, Nida, you have a reputation for aligning growth with integrity. So let's really start with the evolution of demand generation and lifecycle marketing. What mistakes do businesses make when scaling marketing, and how can they align demand generation with lifecycle marketing to improve pipeline results?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think most of the businesses they just jump in. So they start assigning dollars to, say, ads. There's a prescriptive way of doing things. Everyone's doing it the same way. So they're like, oh, we need to run ads. We need to do email marketing. We need to do all of that without fully understanding what their ICP or their ideal customer profile looks like. So I would say the first step in doing any kind of marketing, any kind of branding, is to figure out what your audience is, where they sit, do a complete research of it. And I think that's the biggest mistake most of the companies do. They try to dive in and they want to go all out. And then not having a brand voice, a brand like the way, you would say things, the way you would approach things, not having that detailed out right at the start. I think that's the biggest mistake any brand would do. And it's very important to tie in demand gen, like you said, to life cycle marketing, because both of those kind of integrate with each other. A lot of people just think about getting in new leads and closing customers, but it's not all about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are a bunch of leads sitting in your system who are lost due to maybe we're not ready now, we come back to us after 6 months, we don't have the budget now, but maybe next year. And are you actively going and doing that? And that's where life cycle marketing comes in, to help you with the renewals, with expansion, to see what can be taken care of, which is already sitting in your system, versus spending more money and getting in new.
No, those are vital strategic insights. And it's clear that a holistic approach to demand generation is crucial for the sustainable growth. Now let's explore a core technology that is transforming this landscape, which is the artificial intelligence. Now that we know that AI is rapidly reshaping the future of marketing, offering unprecedented opportunities for efficiency and growth. How will AI and automation shape marketing in the next 3 to 5 years? And how is Anagar Media helping businesses scale with AI-powered systems and workflows?
Yeah. So definitely, I think a lot of people have this perspective that AI is using ChatGPT, and it is not. There is a lot of areas where you can use AI to, to empower yourself. So I say any manual task which takes a lot of effort, you can automate that through AI. There are AI agents in the market which you could buy, you could, build on your own. I definitely think some of the more, and I don't want to like prescribe it, but it's like some of the more tedious tasks of maybe running social media, right? That can be automated. We've seen a lot of AI agents come through with that. So a lot of these existing roles within the marketing teams are gone. Now it's more on, can you focus now on content generation? AI takes care of that for you too, but now you can spend more time on researching where your audience is sitting. Some of the clients I'm dealing with have this perspective of, oh no, I think my audience sits on LinkedIn.
Right.
But right now, a lot of people are on Reddit. And that's kind of creating a space for you to understand now there are things are changing, people are interacting differently. SEO is gone, now AEO has come into picture. So there's a lot of like shifts happening. So it's going to definitely affect the way your teams are structured and the way you're doing things, and so you need to upskill there. And from Anagar Media perspective, we are trying to build in those AI agents. We have a couple already, some of our clients are using, and those have been like incredibly helpful because now we've freed up the time for these people on the teams, and now they can spend more time on doing like things which are more valuable for them, spending more time on research, setting up like a target account list, aligning more with the sales and the CSM teams to figure out, what that would look like. How can we create a more holistic campaign rather than sitting and thinking, oh, what would my content copy be, or what should I be posting on social media, because that can be automated right now.
That's an incredibly practical and forward thinking perspective, Nida. And it's clear that AI, when used strategically, it can be a powerful tool for marketing. Listeners, if you are looking for marketing strategies that deliver real results or insights on how to build a powerful and impactful brand, then please learn from Nida Ateeq about the evolution of demand gen, the role of AI in marketing, and why fractional CMO could be your next strategic hire. Now let's continue our conversation with Nida. Now, we know that AI and automation are clearly redefining the future of marketing, offering new levels of efficiency, personalization, and even growth for businesses of pretty much all sizes. Now, let's shift our focus and discuss a business model that is changing how SMBs access executive level marketing expertise, which is having a fractional CMO. Because the rise of fractional CMO now that we see as a role is a major trend in today's business world. And they tell us why are companies choosing fractional CMOs over full-time executives, and how does this model help build brands and teams without really long-term overhead?
Yeah. With just COVID, we saw a bunch, people going into this hiring phase, having like teams and teams. There were, I saw teams of 60 people in a marketing team at an enterprise level. And was that, at that time, it felt like it was the need of the hour. So there was a lot of hiring at that position. And at the same time, as COVID went away, we saw a lot of layoffs and, people being let go in 2023, 2024. So I feel like fractional CMO comes in and like you don't have to spend that amount of money keeping a person full time, because maybe you just need that strategy help and a direction for your team, and maybe some kind of mentoring or just letting the team know this is what we're going to be working with, here's the framework, here are some templates, this is what you need to do. So I feel like a lot of companies benefit out of that right now. They don't have to spend that much, and also it's great for the fractional CMOs because then they get to work with different clients and have different approaches versus you being stuck in one place. It gives you more ideas, a little more freedom of exploring things. Sometimes the framework doesn't work, so you have this, space to experiment almost. So I think that's where it's heading, and that's why a lot of companies feel free. And to be honest, some of these companies don't need you full time. I do think a lot of CMO roles and head of sales or VP of sales and all of those has to be aligned moving forward. So a lot of companies now are not hiring for these roles. They're more moving towards a CRO, a revenue officer, who's basically taking care of both sales and marketing right now. So what that is doing is there's no misalignment within teams. You are trying to integrate everything into one piece, and the focus is revenue generation. And
Right.
in that case, hiring someone full time for a marketing role is probably not feasible, especially because it's a startup, maybe.
Mm.
And so maybe allocating some budget to get in that expertise makes more sense. Rather than just getting someone to do marketing. And like I said, to our previous topic, we have a lot of these things automated through AI. So just getting in that strategy, that framework, the idea about how to get things done and what that would look like, a plan, and then seeing how that could be efficiently executed through the team and other automations in place.
Absolutely. Now, that's a very compelling value proposition, Nida. And it's clear that the fractional CMO model, it kind of democratizes the access to top tier marketing expertise for the growing businesses. Listeners, we'll take a short break. Please don't go nowhere, because when we come back, we will be discussing why it is so important to hire a CMO, a fractional CMO, with Nida.
Hey, you think you know UPS? Yeah, that's us. Everybody knows that. You know what you didn't know? This. Okay, try to keep up. Ocean, us. Ground, rail, air, so us. Guess who? Us. Customs cleared, borders cleared, done. Us. You still with me? Wait for it. Boom. Us. Intelligent, automated, fulfillment. Us. Yep. Healthcare too. Digital your thing? Yeah. Well, book it, ship it, track it. You feeling me yet? Yep. That's all us. That's all UPS.
Listeners, welcome back. We are back to our conversation with Nida about why is it so essential and resourceful for SMBs to hire a fractional CMO. Now let's discuss your journey as an engineer turned marketer and the power of unfiltered feedback, because you have a very unique story about learning a key marketing lesson from an unexpected source. So please share your experience. I think it was how did your Reddit experience show that tough critics can be the best teachers, and how can businesses use raw feedback to really build stronger campaigns?
Yeah, so the example you're talking about, I had this prescriptive way of going into generating revenue, right? It was like, oh, it's a B2B brand, let's run LinkedIn campaigns. Let's do the email outreaches. Like, there was a process which we followed for 10 years almost now, right?
Right.
It hasn't changed much. And what came in was a reality check for me almost, where it was like, oh, do you know the audience for our particular brand is sitting on Reddit? And that's where people are discussing things. That's where all of the holistically, that's where people are talking about our brand and then comparing us to competitors. And that was like and I was on Reddit, but not for the space from a B2B perspective. We are all on Reddit. We ask questions, we receive answers. It's like a community support group. You get the most valid and most authentic answers, I
yes.
would say. So it was surprising to see for a B2B brand as well, which is not so well known, but people are actually talking about them in those communities and comparing. It was basically a software made for lawyers, and so actual lawyers are discussing that on Reddit, and which was like surprising at a moment to think about, oh, this is another way of
Right.
marketing. So like now restructuring your strategy on obviously you're not going to bring in the dollars because your brand is not doing well, people are not talking well. So going in, digging, researching, figuring out why that's happening, getting in all that information, and then figuring out what the next best steps look like and why it's important to insert yourself into that situation and figure out what people are saying about you and why are they discussing a better product, what do they have to offer versus what you. And surprisingly, we did find out that it's pretty much the same services or the same features, if you will, being offered. Is the way customer service was being offered to each customer, the way the turnaround times look like, and that brought in, I would say, from a community marketing perspective, a huge way of how we would market it, how can we process improve stuff within the other teams. So I believe marketing is not just a revenue generating tool or just like social media or branding, but
Right.
can also help improvise your other teams or structures or processes you have in place just based off feedback.
That is an incredible story, by the way, Nida, and it perfectly illustrates how an open mind and an willingness to embrace unfiltered feedback can lead to a more effective and a successful marketing strategy. Um, Now, finally, let's kind of discuss your passion for women's leadership and your vision for the future of marketing, because Nida, you're deeply passionate about women's leadership and immigrant entrepreneurship. Depending on our conversation today, plus some stuff I've read about you, and this commitment has earned you significant recognition. So please tell us, what is your vision for empowering women in leadership, and how will Anagar Media drive scalable, data-backed strategies for the clients in the next 3 to 5 years?
Like you said, I'm very passionate about women leadership. For me, it has definitely been. I actively work with women founders, especially in the Canadian ecosystem space. I think we have some brilliant people around. They have such great ideas, different ways of approaching things. From an Anagar Media perspective, we want to be in those spaces and talk to those people, and ideally work with them to figure out, what how best we can support them. So my vision is, like I said, being in those spaces, being available to them, whether it's a networking event or catching up somewhere else or dinner. I actively am part of that. But at the same time, we're trying to figure out for women leadership, especially, right? We come in with a lot of baggage. We come in with a lot of imposter syndrome, and it's like, oh, will we be able to do it? Will that happen? Lot
Yeah.
of doubts, a lot of concerns. And so I try to come in on being a partner from our agency perspective, being like an authentic partner. How can we support them? Not just like, oh, we're just going to do this piece for you in marketing and just get done. Like, what are the other challenges you have? Maybe we can set some processes up. Maybe there's someone within my network who can help out. So that's the idea and the vision for, at least for Anagar Media, moving forward, to ensure, that's how we collaborate, especially with women in the Canadian ecosystem who are trying to be entrepreneurs and doing a great job.
That is so inspiring. That's an inspiring vision, Nida. And it's clear that your leadership is really making a significant impact in both the business and the community. So we really appreciate and wish you all the best with that. As we wrap up now, Nida, what is that one core message that you'd like to share with our listeners about building a successful and profitable online brand?
That's a great question. I think one is to definitely ensure you have a good brand voice right from the start. Like, how would you as a brand be positioning yourself? What would be your tone? How would you like the messaging to be? That's very, very important. I think we kind of like, and we always equate it to having a website or something. Like, it's not that. It's talking about what your ideal messaging is and how that would come across to your audience or the potential customers. And two, with just AI coming in and everything rapidly changing, like, keep an open mind. You don't have to be very technical to try out these things, but like, keep an open mind, keep exploring different tools. The past 6 months, I've probably tried out 90 to 100 different AI tools. Not everything sticks, but there are a bunch of like 11 or 12 tools which I will, like, hands down go with and tell you, like, this automates this is brilliant for this piece of work that you're going to do. So keep that open mind and don't equate AI to being, oh, I need to be technical to use it. You don't actually. It's pretty very straightforward and easy. Just keeping up with the times and upskilling yourself is very important as well.
That's the key. That's a powerful and a very actionable message. Thank you so much, Nida, for being on the show with us, for sharing your vision and your great expertise. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
And that was an insightful conversation with Nida, the founder and CMO at Anagar Media, on the evolution of demand gen, the role of AI in marketing, the rise of the fractional CMO, the power of unfiltered feedback, and her vision for women's leadership and global impact. Thank you for tuning into the podcast. We really appreciate your continued support. Please be sure to subscribe to our podcast for more expert insights and resources that can help your business thrive. You can also visit our website, CanadianSME.ca, for valuable information and tools. Special shout out before we leave to our partners, RBC, UPS, A1 Global College, ADP, and Google for their ongoing commitment to empowering small businesses in Canada. Until next time, keep innovating and striving for success. We'll see you in the next episode.